All right, what's happening, Ward Wrestling Live? We are here with an absolute legend in our country. Uh, he's what a wrestling mind. He's got one of the biggest, baddest tournaments around, and we have him on today. It's the great Tony Greathouse. He was a Michigan high school state champ. Wrestled at Michigan State, where he was the team captain. He founded the Michigan Grappler, the Grappler Fall Classic, the Georgia Grappler, New York Wrestling, South Carolina Grappler, Grappler Gold Network, and many other things. But the one we know well is the Michigan Grappler and the GFC. So we got him here today. What's up, Coach? Man, how are you, man? I appreciate you coming on.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so many things I could have, all these accolades I could have went over, but I stopped. I was like, I got to stop at some point.
Yeah. No, it's I've been involved in wrestling my whole life since I was 6, and it just seems to keep snowballing from one thing to the next. So,
Man, and that were you part of that Michigan State team that had Nick Simmons?
yep, yeah. Nick was a grade above me, and Andy was my grade, Andy Simmons. So, and then Nick actually took an Olympic redshirt year. He was like, in his mid-20s by the time he graduated. So he actually ended up being the same grade as me. So me, him, and Andy all graduated together. And we grew up like 20 minutes from each other, our hometowns.
Was that Gray Maynard there too? Butch Hildebrand?
Yeah, so Gray Maynard and Rashad Evans were fifth-year seniors my first year. And there were funny guys to be around, a lot of fun stories.
That squad, I mean, I obviously, I know even before getting into wrestling, I knew who Gray Maynard and Rashad Evans were because I watch MMA. Right?
Yeah.
After talking to Nick Simmons and Butch Hildebrand and those guys, I was like, they're like, hey, ask them about that team. And they started rattling off the names that were on that one team. And I was like, damn.
It was a good team. Yeah, so it was my redshirt year. And I actually missed, that was before the days of like, streaming, live streaming, Big Ten Network and stuff like that. So I remember we beat Iowa. And, it was like a crazy match, and we beat Michigan and, stuff like that. And we weren't there because we were at like the Edinburgh Open, and stuff like that. So we missed a lot of it, but they would video all the matches, and then we would come back, when we got back into town, and we'd go into the film room. And I remember sitting with, all the other freshmen watching all the matches and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, just absolute beast. And then you came like right. I was doing research because I knew I was having you on, so I was looking back at all these amazing wrestlers that have come through that program. It's pretty awesome to see like names I recognize, and I wasn't even following wrestling until a couple of years ago. So
the program is doing really well now. Coach Chandler, he was an assistant when I was there, and I stayed in touch with him really well throughout everything, and I was really happy for him, to take over, and him and Chris Williams, who's his associate head coach, he was also on staff my last 2 years, and then Chris is from like neighboring town also with me, Nick, and Andy, so I kind of grew up knowing him, and so anyways, I stay pretty involved with the program and follow it pretty closely, and it's been exciting these last couple of years. They're building a lot of momentum, and doing a lot of things. They just got that Chase Saldate from California, who's come to my tournament the last couple of years. And so I got to watch him wrestle a lot. So I'm excited to see him and some of the other recruits they got.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, we went through, and I got to experience it last year. It was my first time ever coming up there, as I have a new wrestler, my son.
Oh, for the Fall Classic?
Yeah, so I came up to yours, and it was man, it was really fun. It was our first time kind of traveling for wrestling, and he stayed with the team. He stayed with CFW.
Yeah.
I stayed by myself in another apartment or whatever hotel. and man, what a great tournament you put on there. We had a lot of fun. Man, the matches were just spectacular. Once you got to like the top, the elite, those guys that were in there. And man, Florida and Michigan were neck and neck the whole time, and then I think Florida took it last year, right? And
yeah, they did. It was the first year we did that. We call it the Grappler Cup, and we keep like a team standing. I think we did it last year. We did it where we had a representative from each state. Coach Palazzo was the representative for Florida, and he had to pick, I think it was like 10-point scorers, from his state. And Nick Simmons was the representative for Michigan. And so he picked the guys from Michigan. And anyways, I picked the guy from basically every state, who I knew brought a lot of guys and kind of knew the guys in the state real well. And when it ended, we gave the cup, the Grappler Cup, we actually gave it to Michigan, to Nick Simmons. And he took all these pictures with it, and they were all, jacked up. And then Palazzo called me like the next day, and he was like, hey, I was just looking on Track Wrestling, and one of our guys didn't get added as a point scorer. And so then we recalculated it, and Florida won. And so actually we have a picture at Super 32s. Nick took the trophy down and gave it to Coach Palazzo in North Carolina at Super 32s last year. So officially Florida won. Yeah, so the defending Grappler Cup champs.
Yeah, I had he told me the story. It's pretty funny. But yeah, because I remember leaving there and I was like, man, Michigan just got us. And then obviously all that took place. But
yeah.
So I was reading a little bit, and you'll have to go into the history, but it looked like you founded the Michigan Grappler. And then a few years later is when you really started the GFC, and it seemed like it started in like a little gym, and then it grew to Michigan State, and now Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started the website. I started MichiganGrappler.com in 2007. It was actually during my 5th year. I was still competing in college, and I was on a road trip to Minnesota when I created it. And actually Roger Chandler, who was an assistant at the time, he's pretty good with computers. And so I told him this idea, and he was the one that actually kind of pushed me to do it. He's like, well, just do it. And, it was like, a laptop that was like this big because it was 2007, and I had to keep it plugged in the whole time or it would die. But anyways, we sat there and he showed me how to make a website on this, the app that he used to make websites. And I remember I made it anyways on a road trip, and I thought it was like really cool because, I could like track the site stats. And I remember, like a few days later I had like 150 views, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I know how you feel.
And I just kind of started like building it from there, and, it kind of turned into a hobby. And then, it kept growing. And now, as I got, moved on in my life, I had to obviously, now I have other people do a lot of the work. JJ Johnson is amazing. He does all our rankings and coverage and all that stuff. He's like one of the best minds in wrestling. But anyways, yeah, so that was in 2007. And then 2 years later, I had the idea to start the GFC. And the original plan for it was really, I was trying to get, because in Michigan, we have travel restrictions for our high school teams. We're not allowed, we're allowed to leave the state, but it's very limited, like how much we're allowed to leave the state. And so we would have a lot of kids that I thought from, my website and following it, there's a lot of kids that I saw that I was like, man, these kids are good. They just don't have the opportunity to compete against the best kids in the country. They don't wrestle freestyle, so they don't go to Fargo. And, the only opportunity they have, they would have to drive to Greensboro for the Super 32s or, something like that. So I said, what if we started a tournament in Michigan, and I'll just use my network and contacts, and I'll start calling people and say, hey, bring your kids up, and we'll get all the best Michigan kids, and we'll get, a bunch of kids from out of state and create this, environment for them to compete. And so the first year we did it was at Tecumseh High School, which Tecumseh is a, very average size little town. It's about an hour from Ann Arbor in the middle of nowhere. And it was where I was living at the time. It was my first teaching job I got out of college. So that's why I did it there. And I think there was 300 kids, that first year. It was just high school. It was one division, just high school. There was no varsity or youth divisions or anything like that. And it was still pretty tough though. There were some pretty good kids. Freddie Rodriguez won it that first year. He ended up going to a couple different colleges, but he was a national qualifier for Southern Illinois Edwardsville a couple years ago. He was a Fargo champ. He finished, top 5 in the country. But anyways, it kind of grew from there. First 2 years we did it to Tecumseh High School. Then we went to Kellogg Arena in Battle Creek, which is it's where Michigan used to always, for a long, long time, did their team state finals. This is kind of like little arena. It was really good for wrestling. So we did it there for probably 6 years. And then it started, really to grow. And we started getting big name guys like Mark Hall and, Alex Marinelli was there from Iowa. Guys like, we just started getting all these big name guys from all over the country. And really, it was mostly me just like finding their phone number or their email address, or find them on Facebook and invite them to come to the tournament, and like matchmaking, trying to get all these matches to happen. And then 2 years ago we moved to Michigan State. We were there for 2 years. I really like doing it at Michigan State, because it's a college campus. It's my alma mater. It was really cool doing it there. I think people coming from out of state liked being on a Big Ten campus in the fall. And it was really doing exactly what I wanted it to do, which was all the best Michigan kids came. And then, we get hundreds of kids from all these other, like last year I think we ended up with like 24 states that were there. That was the most states we've ever had. And so anyways, it was great.
Stands too, that over, where you're able to sit up high, and the stands that come over the gym. So it's a good way to watch the matches. You can see them all.
Yeah. Yep. And there was a lot of mat space. So, we had the middle school and elementary divisions. We had a varsity division. We have a girls division. So it really expanded, and we were, I don't know, it was one of those things where I was at a point where I was like, man, we might have too many kids to keep doing it here, but I really like doing it there. And then COVID this year kind of forced my hand into moving. I didn't want to move as far as we moved, but we got to a point where we had to pick a new venue or a new location, because Michigan is basically off limits right now, in terms of holding any sort of sporting event. So we ended up with Myrtle Beach. That was where the decision led us to, and it's been going great. I mean, we had great reception. Our numbers look very good. We're going to have another really good tournament with kids from, all over the country, and I think it's going to be really good. And for the kids from Michigan now, I mean, the sad part for me is like I kind of lose that purpose, of like bringing kids to Michigan to wrestle Michigan kids. But a lot of Michigan kids are making the trip down. We got a lot of kids signing up. So for them, it'll be a good way to go and be in a little bit warmer weather, I guess, in the fall.
A much larger venue too, right?
Yeah. So if there were no, if we weren't in the middle of a different time right now, it would be basically unlimited in terms of space. From what I know, I've actually never been there. I did most of my information is coming third hand or second hand. I'm not sure how you say that. From
fourth hand. What the hell?
Whatever. Yeah. From Dave Dean in New Way. So I partnered with them for the COVID compliance type stuff, because and Dave Dean was a coach of mine in college at Michigan State for my first 3 years. And I've worked with Dave for a long time. He's always kind of supported me with, the tournament, and just, helped me, getting started and how to organize and do stuff. But for this year specifically, I was like, I need your help, because I don't know. I mean, I run one tournament. I run 2 tournaments a year. We also do an in-season high school tournament, but I'm like, I'm not a tournament production guy. I mean, I do it once a year really. So I don't know how to do this. Do I just cancel the tournament? Do I move it somewhere? What do you think? And, so he kind of started spitballing all the different venues, because New Ways ran, a dozen, 15, I don't even know how many tournaments they ran over the last 6 months, in the middle through all of this.
I just saw one, and Mark, I was talking to David Miller today. I had him on, and they did a huge outdoor, I guess it was.
In Atlantic City. Yep. Yeah.
They obviously know what they're doing.
Yeah, so he's gone into so many different settings and had to figure out how to maneuver around, all the challenges right now. And so anyways, he was like the best person, to work with. And so they're handling, all the COVID compliance. They're going to do all the, they're doing temperature screening. They have sanitizing stations. They're, social distancing. I don't even really know all of the things that are going into it. And that's why I needed Dave, because I was like, I don't know. You guys have done this now, and, it's ran very smoothly. So, anyways, yeah, he's a great person for me to lean on in this, make this not be as stressful as it could be, I guess.
And your tournament has grown over the years. So because of the continuing growth, you ended up at the old basketball gym at Michigan State, right? Now,
yep.
Now, I mean, it's almost outgrowing that stadium, right? So
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
you see yourself, obviously you're going to experience Myrtle Beach and you'll make a decision there as far as how you feel about that venue. You can't tell anybody now, like I'll stay or I won't, because you haven't you haven't done it yet, right? But
Yeah.
as far as on the Michigan campus, do you see yourself moving to the larger facilities they have there, or
Yeah. See, that was
or would you
that.
have to add extra days, or I guess that would
Yeah, that was one of the things that we, last year at the end of the tournament that I sat there thinking is like, what do we do next? We want to expand this. Like, how do we build? And the problem is, on universities, I think, at least in Michigan State, once you go to if you go to like their main, Breslin Center, their baskets, like you're talking a lot of money. So I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that much money on a venue, and the mat space really isn't any bigger. I mean, there's more seating. It's a bigger venue, but it's like a basketball court. I mean, you can pull the bleachers back, but in terms of mat space, you're still really limited. So,
man, fuck it, do the football stadium.
Maybe, yeah, that would be better for right now for COVID compliance.
Oh yeah, could you imagine the Grappler at the football stadium?
It would be a little bit cold in the first weekend in October, but
yeah, but that would be badass, man. I couldn't imagine, man. We're sitting in a football stadium. Hey, all these kids like to wear hoodies. They wear it. It's 150 degrees out. They're still walking around with their hoodies on. So
yeah. There you go. It'll be perfect then.
Yeah, it'd be perfect for them. So I know you just talked about New Way, and that was one of my questions I was going to ask you, because I'm sure a lot of the feet. I'm sure you're getting stuff. Hey, we want to bring our kids. What's the COVID look like? What's the compliance?
Yeah.
Are they going to stay on top of? Because I mean, let's be honest. There's coaches and parents out there that are still kind of, I think this is bullshit. This is a hoax. This is not real. It's not true.
Yeah.
So how firm are they going to be as far as, hey, look, dude, you don't have your mask on. Come on, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, people have different opinions, and I mean that's everyone's right to have their own opinion.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
But it's one of those things where, like, for us to stay, I mean, it's not even like whether you think you need it to stay safe or not. For us to do this tournament,
yeah,
we have to follow the rules, or the rules that are put in place by the state, in South Carolina. So, and that's the other thing too is New Way actually ran a tournament already in this venue over the summer. It was called the Southeast Slam, and I don't think it was quite as big as our tournament's going to be, but they got a trial run and they kind of know what they're doing already. So, and they know the venue and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, we're going to have a security team that not only, mans the door, but they're also going to walk around and make sure, usually they walk and make sure that, dads aren't verbally abusing their kids, but now they're going to also, tell people to put their mask on if they're not wearing a mask. And
I'm not one of those parents, but I know that people want to hear, people are going to ask that. So I figure just as,
it's.
We have you on right now, so let's play devil's advocate, right, and ask.
Yeah, the big question that people ask, and I totally get it, is are there limits to like spectators? Or because you see a lot of tournaments where they're like, oh, we're only going to do one spectator per athlete and that kind of stuff. And right now, where we're at with the venue, we don't have any limits like that, and we don't anticipate having to do that. And that was one of the main reasons that we chose to go with South Carolina, is because of the size of the venue and the way that that Myrtle Beach was allowing us to operate. We didn't see that being a problem. We we stretched things out a little bit to help. We made it a 2-day tournament, so that kind of helps a little bit. It keeps so you got less people in one spot, because that was the other thing too, is the original business plan of this tournament was it's a 1-day tournament. That was the whole thing, is it's 1 day. You come in, you wrestle 1 day, and you go home. So for people, and it's in the Midwest. That was the other thing, my big thing when I marketed the tournament in the beginning is, the best tournaments around the country right now. 10 years ago, it was Fargo, which is no offense to North Dakota, but there's not a whole lot of wrestling out in, it's not the best wrestling area of the country. And then, you had Greensboro, North Carolina for Super 32s, which same thing, no offense to the Southeast, but 10 years ago, it wasn't as good a wrestling as, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. So my thing was like, this tournament's right in the Midwest. We get all the best kids from the Midwest. You don't have to drive all across the country. You can all just come right here. It's a 1-day tournament instead of a 2 or 3 day, 4-day thing. You only got to stay in a hotel one night and go home. It's a lot easier. So we obviously had to stray from that in effort to spread things out over 2 days. So this year, the high school elite division is going to be a 2-day tournament. So, which I think will be good because, we get so many like you get like state champs wrestling, second round. And so for some of those kids, they're going like state champ, national ranked kid, and then they got to wrestle their finals match at 10 o'clock at night. It's like, that's a long day. And so this way we can,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so this way, we can spread out. They can get a little bit more break. They can go back to the hotel, sleep, wake up. They're going to do the semis, and the finals will be on the second day for the elite division.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because you do a high school varsity, right?
Yep.
And an elite. And now, so how's it going to work? Varsity's going to go 1 day, and they'll be done, right? And then
so varsity is wrestling on Sunday. So the elite division. I made like a grid that's on our website because it's kind of confusing now. But the elite division goes Saturday and Sunday, and then the varsity division is only on Sunday.
Okay, so we'll get all finals, semifinals for both divisions, everything on Sunday.
We'll all be So the finals for the elite division will be at like noon, and then the varsity division will be like a couple hours later.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, there's also, you got the girls wrestle on Saturday. So we did new this year. So because we have so much space and because there's just not a lot of tournaments right now, I wanted to make more opportunities for kids to wrestle. So, if you're from Michigan, you're driving to Myrtle Beach and you're a fifth grader, instead of just going and wrestling in the elementary division and wrestling 3 or 4 matches and you're done. So we did the age-based, so it's 6U, 7U, 8U, 9U, all the way up. And so you can now wrestle both days. You could wrestle your age, and then you could go like the next age group up the second day. And then we also did a freestyle and folk style division only for the youth division. Just once again, just to create an opportunity for kids to get more matches. They can wrestle in 2 or 3 different tournaments in one weekend, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was going to ask you, because I wrote down here, what's the match scheduling like? And that's cool because that makes sense. I mean, and plus Myrtle Beach, I have not been, but I hear it's beautiful. And I think people come in, it's a place you want to be for 2 days and not 1 day, I think. So hopefully
it'll be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully with the COVID and stuff, they'll have some things opened up for us. And
the other thing that's nice too with the 2-day format for the elite division is, a lot of times you see with, especially like preseason tournaments, you see where they have to wrestle shortened matches, so we're going to be able to wrestle full 2-2-2 matches for all the championship matches. So, because it sucks when you show up and you wrestle this kid who's like really good, and you have to wrestle a 5-minute match. It's a 2-1-1 match or something, something like that. And you're like, gosh, I was just starting to get him tired and time ran out, or whatever. So, this way it kind of makes the matches a little bit more legitimate. I think that they're full 2-2-2 matches. We got a lot of. There's going to be a lot of good matches. We got a lot of really good groups. Obviously, the Central Florida CFWA, Lake Highland Prep group is coming again with Coach Palazzo, and a ton of good kids from Florida from that group. And then a lot of other Florida kids as well are coming. There's some really, really good kids from Georgia that are coming. Georgia. So we started a website, Georgia Grappler, a couple years ago. No, actually it was this year we started it. Seems like it was longer than that. But anyways, I spent 1 year in Georgia after I graduated college. I coached down there in Atlanta for a year. And so that was my first introduction to Georgia wrestling. But I've been following it a lot lately over the last couple of years because we started this website. And Georgia wrestling is really good. I mean, it's like they are like legitimately a lot of really good wrestlers. And sometimes it's hard to notice it because Georgia has like 10 classes of wrestling. I don't know if you follow Georgia high school wrestling. It might not be, but it's pretty close. I mean, there's like 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, all the way up to like 7A. So a lot of the kids get spread out and kind of like they get lost in the shuffle. But I mean, some of these kids are really good. We got some of them already signed up, and I think there's probably going to be a lot more. So that the Grappler Cup this year might be a pretty hot contention between Florida, Georgia. Obviously, Michigan's bringing a lot of kids, and then California just started signing up. We got the group out of Gilroy High School in California, where Daniel Cormier coaches. They're coming again. They just started signing up. So yeah, it's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of good competition, a lot of good kids.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had a short time in wrestling, but it seems like you have definitely done the right things at growing it and marketing it, because I mean, it's known as one of the biggest, baddest tournaments in our country. So, and I know just last year experiencing it, it was pretty cool. And it'll be way cooler this year, God willing, I make it up there, and because I've had this show, so I've gotten to meet like some really cool kids. Like last year I only knew the kids that were in my son's club, right? So it's funny, I go back and I look at the winners in the old matches in 2019. I'm like, damn, all those guys were there. And I was like, I didn't even know that. I just knew who came with my son, right? But now, because of this platform and learning Florida wrestling, I was like, good Lord, I didn't realize all those studs from here were there. And then now around the country, there's names I see. So I'm like, even Georgia, I've started to get some Georgia guys on. They've got some, like you said, man, with those clubs they got up there are awesome.
They got some good clubs,
like Crazy Morris Fitness and man, just all those guys are great. But so the obviously you said the decision to move to Myrtle Beach was, first of all, meet at a larger venue, but second of all, Michigan's kind of shut down right now. So partnership with New Way. So partner with New Way, we got compliance covered. You're taking good care of that. So people are going to be safe. Obviously, you're not God, but you're going to do your best to
do everything I can.
Do everything you can.
Yeah, I heard a really good video. I don't know if you saw it, about it was a went viral. Pennsylvania football coach was talking about playing football because they were going to cancel football in Pennsylvania. I don't know if they actually ended up canceling it or not, but he gave a really good speech about it's everyone's choice to weigh the risks, the risk and reward of everything that you do in life. And I think that's what this boils down to, is everything you do, there's a risk, like there's a risk when you go to the grocery store, there's a risk when you go to school or go to church or whatever you do. So we're going to do everything we can to try to reduce, eliminate as much risk as possible. But, it's we're going to follow the state guidelines. We're going to make it as safe as possible and hopefully make an opportunity so that kids can still wrestle.
Yeah, that's awesome. And match schedule, obviously we've got new protocols, and because it's grown so big, we're going 2 days this year. So elite will wrestle both days, Saturday and Sunday, he said, and then varsity will wrestle all day Sunday. We'll have elite finals, which is the top kids. We'll see those by noon, and then a couple hours later we'll end off with varsity. Youth kids will have opportunities to wrestle both days, which is awesome. And then also we brought in freestyle and folk style for the youth ages. Yep,
and girls wrestle on Saturday.
Awesome. And girls.
The girls division is actually going to be bigger this year than it's ever been. There's a lot of girls signed up, and those elite finals are going to be unbelievable. We have nationally ranked kids at every weight. I think every weight except for like one has at least one. Most of them have multiple national ranked kids at every weight. We got like 30 nationally ranked kids. We have I think like over 60 state champs right now, high school state champs that are signed up, and like 170 returning high school state placers, something like that, from Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, California. They're coming from everywhere. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be good to see some, a national wrestling tournament. We haven't really had a high school national wrestling tournament since last year's Super 32, really. I mean, because last spring everything got canceled. There's no spring tournaments, no NHSCAs, no Fargo, nothing like that. So it's gonna be cool to see these kids, back on like a big stage and be able to put a show on. So I'm excited.
Wow. So let me just recap this: 30 plus national ranked, 60 plus state champs, 170 plus state placers.
Yeah, and that's with a month. I mean, we're a month out still, so I mean that's going to go up. Yeah.
Talk about get some, huh?
Yeah, if you want to get some, you got to be in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
Hell yeah, you want to get some, man. That's going to be amazing, man. And then spectators, hey, you're all welcome as long as you follow the rules. There will be security around to make sure you follow the rules. If you don't want to follow the rules, then get the fuck out. If you do want to follow the rules, then you're welcome to stay and play, right?
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
There's probably a hotel bar not far. If you don't want to follow the rules, you can go there and pull it up on Track Wrestling.
Yeah, watch it on TV. Perfect. Yeah, adios. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. All right, man. This is badass. I can't wait to post it and get it on there so we can move it around. But
cool.
I got my 10 questions. You ready?
Yeah, what is that? What's 10 questions?
I do my little 10 question thing at the end here. Are you ready?
I told you I'm not a podcast guy. I don't watch a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I'm not, me neither. I didn't know what the hell to do. I just started talking to people.
Before you hit me with the 10 questions, I just want to say for anyone who's watching, grapplerfallclassic.com, you can get information on the tournament. Registration's open, and sign up and get some.
Yeah, and the dates are right there.
October 3rd and 4th. You got it.
Got it. And Myrtle Beach. Who doesn't want to be at Myrtle Beach, man?
Myrtle Beach Convention Center, 2 blocks from the beach.
Yeah, I'm not going to have to stand in that long line at the bookstore waiting for Starbucks to open.
Nope.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Zinda Barbecue or Little Barbecue?
I don't know what that means.
At Michigan State, around Lansing, there's 2 barbecue restaurants.
I've never heard of either of those. They must be new. They weren't there when I was on campus.
All right. Well, that sucks. Well, all right.
So these aren't stock questions. These are personalized questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have a little fun at the end and do shit.
Okay. I mean, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings when I was in college.
Cool. I like that too.
That's not really unique, but.
Yeah, it's unique to me. All right. Franklin Gomez or Pat Milkovich?
Oh, Franklin Gomez.
Great guy, right?
Yeah, just because I know him, I guess. He was on the team. He was. We overlapped 2 years, and I know Pat Milkovich was amazing, and he was probably a really good guy too. But I knew Franklin really well, and he wasn't just a good wrestler. He was like an amazing human being. And so yeah, I'll take Franklin all day.
Awesome. I don't know if you know any of these places because I just got them from around the college campus. Dagwoods or Crunchies?
Crunchies.
Hey! Yeah, we got one.
Those were good.
All right, here we go. Pat McNamara or your boy Nick Simmons?
Nick Simmons. I don't ever vote against Nick Simmons, but I really like Pat McNamara a lot. He's a great guy. He was amazing on top. He was a beast on top. Pat was before me. He wasn't on the team while I was there. But I told you I grew up like 15 minutes from campus, so I used to go watch all the home duels, and I was a huge Pat McNamara fan. But Nick's my boy. Nick was the best man at my wedding. So if you said Nick Simmons or
anyone,
Daniel Cormier, I'd take Nick Simmons.
I'd probably take Cormier. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I had Coach Carter on. He's the coach down at HB Plant here. And he grew up in Michigan around all you guys. And
yeah.
He said, I mentioned Nick Simmons to him, and he goes, "Oh my God, that guy whooped my ass so bad in high school."
He did everybody. He whooped everybody's ass.
He said, as a matter of fact, I think he didn't pin me because he teched me quicker than he could pin me. So I think that's why I got teched and not pinned.
Nick was probably mad that he didn't pin him.
Oh shit! He said he put some stranglehold on him and just that was it. It was over.
Yeah, sounds like Nick.
Yeah. Giorgio's or the Cosmos?
Giorgio's, 100%. Pizza
Oh,
by the slice. It's the best.
I'm getting better here, man. We're getting
You are.
All right. Kelvin Jackson or my man David Morgan from Wrestling U.
Gosh, that's tough. KJ was amazing. I mean, KJ was a national champ, so most people would probably immediately go with KJ. But David Morgan was the people's champ. He should have been a national champ. He had some pretty bad luck in the national finals. And I also, another one, I know him a lot better. I watched Kelvin Jackson, but I don't really know him that well. And I've gotten to know David Morgan really well, and he's a great guy. But yeah, David Morgan.
Yeah, his brother.
He's on top too.
His brother is an awesome dude also.
Yeah, fun fact, I actually lost to his other brother, JP Morgan. So I won the state title my junior year, but my senior year, I lost to Dave's other little brother, JP Morgan, in I lost in the quarterfinals, and then I lost to him again for third and fourth. So my last 2 losses in high school were to his little brother.
Oh, they named him after a bank?
Yeah, exactly.
El Oasis or Pablo's?
I don't know those either. I don't remember it, or they're new.
Yeah, probably new. I don't know.
I just don't remember it. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I don't know them either, so don't worry.
15 years ago, and I was. I don't remember some stuff.
All I remember is the hotel bar, and the and some Starbucks on the corner of campus right there. I remember going to. Tom Milkovich or Dale Anderson?
Oh, that's tough. I don't think I've actually watched either of them wrestle, but Dale Anderson? I don't know.
I just went into the Michigan State folklore or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the late 60s, early 70s, Michigan State was amazing.
All right, let's see. We got Bodie's or Ruth Chris?
Ruth Chris is pretty good. I would probably go with Ruth Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. I don't know what Bodie's. It looked like it was a high-end steak place in the area, but
yeah, I definitely didn't go to either of those in college. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if you still live around there or not. So
no, I live in Brighton, so I'm like about 45 minutes out away from campus.
Well, it was still fun. All right, my last one: Bob Hoke or the great Gray Maynard?
Gray Maynard.
Hell yeah, you didn't even think twice of that shit.
Yeah, Gray's a stud. Gray's another one too. That his national placings weren't as indicative of like how close he was to being a national champ. I mean, he was like, he had like really close matches with that weight class was loaded when he was there. Ryan Bertine from Michigan. There was Luke Becker from Minnesota. I can't remember the guy's name from Ohio State, but he had like just the Big Ten alone was loaded, and he had to run the gauntlet every year. But he's one of those guys who like he could have won the tournament or taken 8th. Just that's how that weight class was. All those guys were so close. So yeah, he was unbelievable.
Man, it had to be something being a freshman on that team.
It was too, and I was like, I was young. Like I didn't turn 18 until 2 months into college. And I came from this little small town, real sheltered. I was a 125 pounder my freshman. I was this little, like teeny little guy. And, you got Gray Maynard, who's like got tattoos everywhere. He's just like a barbarian. And then there's Rashad.
14, right?
Yeah, you got Rashad, who Rashad Evans is like, just gets him, this crazy guy gets in fights all the time. And there was just like some characters on that team. It was a fun team to be on.
Yeah, I'll never forget watching. It was early on of that UFC show that Rashad was on. It was like 2 or 3 or something. And
yeah, he was one of the first seasons. Yeah,
I remember him even on that show. The coaches were trying to mess with him. He's like, "I'm not here to be your fucking friend. I'm here too." And he's telling the coaches that shit. They're like, "Yeah, yo, kid, you haven't even made the show yet." He's like, "That's all right."
Well, it was funny. It was funny because he actually was a security guard at the local hospital when he went on that show, and he used to still hang out with like a lot of us, and we actually watched some of the episodes with him, like while he was but he couldn't tell us. He was like he had to sign some sort of confidentiality agreements.
So you guys
So
were
we're like,
sitting at the bar watching it together?
yeah, we like sat around watching it. We're like, are you gonna win? I'm like, what happens? He's like, I can't tell you. It was really cool to watch that whole thing unfold, and then especially like to watch his, as his career started to snowball. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, he had a hell of a career,
Yeah.
And now he's announcing, right? I think I see him announcing a lot.
Yeah, he's doing some commentating. Yep.
That's cool. Well, man, this has been awesome, man. I'm so happy I reached out. I didn't know that. I had always heard Nick Simmons' name, I hit Nick Simmons up, and I'm like, hey, man, can you do this? Can you do that? What's up with the Grappler? Why? He's like, hey, man, I'm involved, but it's not mine. It's Tony Greathouse's. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I don't know. I saw a Michigan Grappler thing come up on IG, and I was like, I'm gonna hit him up.
You invited me to be on your podcast before JJ invited me to be on the Michigan Grappler podcast. So I don't even get to be on my own podcast sometimes.
Yeah, well, listen, that's it. We're gonna start WardWrestlingGrappler.com.
There you go.
Man, this was awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I got some stickers in. I'll have to get some to you.
All right, cool.
Got some for the girls too.
Sweet.
And then I'm gonna bring some cool stuff with me. As I said, God willing, we're still on the downside of this. It seems like we're ticking down, so it seems like things are starting to open up. That's awesome.
Yes.
Man, hey, you guys got to get some. Let me tell you again. 30 plus right now, and there's still a month left. 30 plus national ranked kids already signed up. 60 plus state champs already signed up. 170 plus state placers already signed up. Man, fire in Myrtle Beach.
That's the plan.
I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be great for me, especially now. Like before, I would only put on like the CFWA guys on my track record.
Yeah.
I'd wait for them to go, and I'd be like, oh, I know that guy, right? Now I'll be seeing other stuff, and I'll have to.
Yeah, we're gonna make a big PA announcement. Anyone who wants to be on Ward Wrestling Live, come to the head table, and you'll have more guests than you're ever gonna need. Hell
yeah, let's do it, man. I'm gonna come, and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna be there. Hell yeah, I'm down. I got your phone number now, so we'll stay in touch. And man, cool. If you need to jump on again as we get closer to this thing, feel free to hit me up, man.
All right.
Even if I don't have a calendar, I'll just make a time. I don't care. Like this, 9:30 at night. Put the kids to sleep.
What better time?
Yeah, I love it, man. Hopefully Zoom will work next time. Well, Zoom is work. Whatever. I figure it out as I go. But thank you so much. It was an absolute honor to meet you. I've heard great things about you, and it's just really cool to get to meet the people I've met by starting this show. And it's pretty humble. I don't know what to say. Just thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for everything that you do too. It's cool. You give a lot of people opportunities to talk wrestling, and it's a cool thing that you're doing. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I can't wait to shake your hand in person and say thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, man. I'll get this posted up and tag you. And should I tag you on Facebook or tag GFC or Grappler? Or?
You can tag Michigan Grappler. Right. You can tag me too. Michigan Grappler though.
All right.
I'm not real active on Facebook personally.
No worries. Send it over. You're on the Twitter?
Yeah, Mish Grappler on Twitter.
All right, I got you. I'll get it all over the place for you.
And then Instagram is MI Grappler.
MI Grappler. Bam. We'll do it all.
All right, cool.
I got you. Thank you, man. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. And I can't wait to come and go live with you at the Grappler.
And get some in Myrtle Beach.
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
All right. See ya.